Throughout life, I have always been a very studious and academic person. Learning in an academic environment came easily to me, and I excelled frequently. I discovered my teaching and passion for learning through teaching dance, swing dancing, which then led to teaching ESL abroad, and then to my current position of teaching ninth grade ELA. Since transitioning to the more academic, typical public school structure, I approached it in the same way that I would have anticipated my own learning abilities and preferences. However, this is wildly deviant from the actual way my students require learning. My primary aspect in my teaching philosophy is focusing on equitable learning for all students. I want students to be able to engage and grow, implement their own interest into their learning, and find a real-life application to the material and concepts they learn, and to invite and use rigor in my classroom to push students to be the best that they can be. This then has lent the challenge and development of more unique strategies to guide my students to these goals. I've observed other teachers, specifically my mentor teacher, and their practices to see how I can apply it to my own classroom. I've asked the students what they like, dislike, need supports for, and how they can visualize this type of learning in a different application. Therefore, during my first year of teaching and current second year, I've grown a lot as an educator. I've developed new strategies that can apply to different learning styles, such as visual spatial learning, meaning do they get to talk about it, do they get to see it? Verbal learning, do they get to listen to it? Kinesthetic learning, do they get to touch it? Auditory learning, again, do they get to listen? Logical learning, figuring it out. And interpersonal learning, meaning do they work independently or do they discuss in a group? I've learned to incorporate technology in my classroom in a way that helps my students to learn, but also teaches them to use those types of technological resources for themselves. They've learned to see how the seemingly musty texts in English class can apply to a growing field they like. STEM, for those interested in science and engineering. Athletics, for those who dream of glory and a free college education. And even typing and writing for those who wish to do other fields, sociology, writing, etc., or even those who aren't sure what they want to do. Through these experiences, I've received positive and negative criticism. I've cried and failed in some areas, rejoiced and celebrated in others. And while my main philosophy of equability in education has not changed, the way I've approached it has grown and adjusted tremendously, and only has more opportunities to grow so that I can be the best instrument of learning for others.